Hi friends golfers, today is all about spin. I'm going to teach you how to get spin on your wedges out. Anybody can do this. It's a technical aspect I'm going to show you. It makes it simple, but I'm going to show you what really matters. Hi, I'm Eric Schulber with EJSGolf, and join me in this video where I break down how any golfer can get spin through a couple things that matter. We're gonna look at attack angle and dynamic loft and how those equal something called spin loft, which is basically our spin, okay? It's an equation. It really is, that's all it is. People go, what do I have to do? Now, are there other things that come into play with spin? Yes, your wedge. How good are the grooves? What kind of wedge do you have? I find these aren't replaced enough. Kyle's this study said they're pretty much flat after about 75 rounds. I wish people would place these more than the driver, okay? So we got that. Number one, balls matter a ton, what you use for spin. You know, you get a lot of balls that will say, you know, they fly far, but what really matters from is when we get within 100 yards, okay, how they perform. Friction, you know, so where do we hit the ball to? So that matters. Is it spinning up our club? Are we getting enough friction where it catches on our face and boom, goes off? Water is going to affect it. There's just a little bit of moisture is going to affect spin. Yes, the more speed I add to it, I can add more too, but you're going to really see, I can hit some short shots and get quite a bit of spin. The one I hit right before it came on right here was close to 41. I got a spin rate of 6,825. 68.25, and I didn't even hit it perfect, only 28 yards carried. So let's get to it now, how it works, okay? So if you take two numbers only, and I hope you can see this really well, we're gonna look at attack angle. Mine was -8, and we're also gonna look at dynamic loft. Mine on this last shot was 43.8. You turn this -8 into a positive, add it to dynamic loft, and we come up with about, it's not gonna be exact, within one or two, a spin loft of 52. That's a good number, okay? It's a really good number. But here's the thing, I can get 52 a couple different ways. If I had attack angle down of -1, well, then if I had a dynamic loft of 51, I'm there too. The thing is, I don't want an attack angle down of -1 because I don't feel like I'm gonna catch it as crisp. I like to be down at least 5. So my goal, your goal is to get this number to near, 51, 52. So here's the thing. People are like, oh, you got to hit down to get spin. Well, it's an equation, okay, of the two. We're trying to build this arc here. So I have attack angle down and I have dynamic loft. So the difference between those two, if we have a little vector here, is your spin loft and how much is spin. So let's say when I go, I can keep these numbers the same. I go 12 down, and I turn this into 39, and I get the same number. All I'm doing is shifting it this way, okay? So let's talk about this then. So let's go ahead and do another one where we can get some numbers and talk about it. Now, if I want to get my attack angle more down, and I'm gonna show you guys a few ways to do it. Well, let's just talk about one of the main ways, I believe. You look at the average on the PGA Tour, they're moving about 1.5 to 2 inches towards the target in their downswing, okay? What does that do? It helps me move it up. The attack, I'm gonna talk in a couple of modes. I think it's easier to explain for those that don't have TrackMan, and this is an exact match, but you can look at it almost as low point, getting more forward, okay, on a strike, not hitting behind it or at it, we're trying it forward. So if this is the ball, this stick, I would try to land in front of it to make sure I get that good attack angle down. What does that mean? If I move forward, it makes it easy. Another thing that I see too is if I have my shoulders pretty flat and then I go like this, I turn here, it's gonna make it really hard. I want to just tilt. Just kind of boop, like that. So when I just tilt, it gets club up and steep, which is what I want, and it's easier to come down. Last one, I made several videos on this. This is to me the #1 deadly sin in golf, is when I take this club back, if I get back here behind my hands by this height and natural forces just turning, look where it wants to land. If I get this thing out here, not behind my hands, but by the time I'm there, and just turn, I landed up here, okay? That's the difference, okay? Big time difference there. So that is how we're gonna handle the attack angle. We're gonna think about it as getting more forward and steeper. So you can get so steep on this like I did there. I tried to exaggerate a little bit. And so you're gonna see that came out too low because dynamic loft is 24.5, not good. Okay, and you see how low my spin loft was. So we gotta hit more loft on it. Okay, and you'll start to hear the sound when you do it right, when you hit it right. Okay, so look at this again, spin loft, really good. How did I get there? -5.8 with a 45 dynamic loft. So I get 51.9, put 5,700 of spin on a 26 shot. Now, it could have been more. I did not center face that, but still, if you think about it from only that far, not bad. The other component is what we talked about, the dynamic loft. What is that? So this is a 60-degree wedge. And for that number 45, it means I, at impact, took 15 degrees of loft off. How did that happen? Well, I'm moving forward. And when I'm moving forward with a little bit of shaft lane, what does that do? It closes the face. That's why I don't want to be like this here, right? But if I want a higher spin, if I want a higher dynamic loft, I'm gonna have to do more of that. So we're gonna talk about dynamic loft, okay? I call them like release patterns, and some people look at it, and you can if you want it as a 1, 2, 3, but I fit it to whoever the person is. So let's say I want a little more height. I'm not gonna change anything I do, or I'm gonna go with my regular shot to show you first, just stock. Now, if I want a little bit more height, I'm gonna work on more release here. I'm gonna feel the club is releasing more earlier, okay? So I call that my number 2. Number 3 is I do it a lot more release to get it even, get the dynamic loft even higher, okay? So to me, it's all about the release pattern. We keep the other components pretty close to the same, but we change the release pattern, okay? So you're gonna almost feel like you're getting a little bit more under it. That's a little bit longer. Dynamic loft 47, 6,500 for 33. That's not the best. This should give us a probably better number. I can just tell by sound. Let's see a spin loft, full 49, not perfect again, but -5 attack angle. I just need a little bit more dynamic loft on that. Is this bad? No. 6,500 from 30 yards? No. Now, you will see that ball most likely hit the green, and you'll see it as long as you get a good ball, kind of spin, and then it'll slow it down. And that's the whole goal in chipping, right? We want consistent spin, so I know when I hit the green what that ball is going to do. If one time it runs, the other time stops, how am I ever going to judge that? I'm not. It makes it really hard, okay? So let's try another one of these where we're going to try to keep that under -5. We're going to try to get the dynamic loft up, so we get our spin loft a little bit higher so we get a little bit of a number. Okay, so coming out pretty low. Let's see what we got here. So we got 50.8, which is good again. And then we got 6,300 spin. That was down -5.8 with the dynamic loft of 44. Launch angle is really low, 28. I'd say it depends how far you are, but 28 to 33. 28 is going to be pretty low. I'd say if you want to get near 32, it'd probably be more towards average and better. But if you have the confidence that you're going to spin it and you know how much, then you can do it. So here we go. This one was close to the same, but that was only -4 down, 4.4 down, and 46, close 50.8, 27 yards, and spin loft is 6,000. It's an equation, folks. That's all it is. And understanding that tells that anybody can grab spin and learn how to do it. And you may be like, well, I don't have the TrackMan, I can't do it. Well, we can work on the tack angle and guarantee it, because we're going to think of it as low point and we'll see where we hit. There's number 1. And is that perfect method? No, but it's good enough to figure this out. And then our dynamic loft, we can start to see how that comes up. Would I suggest working with somebody that can help you with the TrackMan? Yeah, I would. So you can look at your numbers and dial it in and then go from there and see how it works on different lies and stuff like that. So I know this is going to make you a better golfer. Leave a comment down below. Let me know about your chipping and let me know how much spin you're getting on it now after watching this. Thanks for watching. Eric Solberg with EJS Golf.